Washington Commanders, Detroit Lions. Over under is 55.5. Detroit's a 10-point favorite as it is right now. It's going to be a really good game, a lot closer than people think. I'm going to give you 6 player props that I really like. I'm going to give you 3 from Washington, and I'm going to give you 3 from Detroit. You can take them or leave them, pick what you want, ignore what you don't like. I'm still going to give it to you based on what I like. First play here, what I really like, my favorite play out of them all, it's going to be Jaden Daniels over 1.5 passing touchdowns. 22,000 people like it as well. Here's the thing, with David Montgomery back, I expect Goff and that offense to try and salt the clock away a little bit, try and own that time of possession. So I think Jaden Daniels is going to have to make the most opportunity out of every possession. How are they going to do this? They're going to expose that vulnerable passing defense that kind of shows its ugly head for Detroit here and there. He's been hitting multiple touchdown games. Slide on over to ESPN.com. We can see that earlier in the season. Here back in September, he started kind of slow with the touchdowns, right? It took him almost a month to start getting going. But as we creep towards the end of this season, right around Thanksgiving time and beyond, 2, 3, 2, 5 in that big comeback win versus the Eagles. I remember watching that game. I was like, this guy's special. 3 touchdowns versus Atlanta in overtime. This game didn't matter because it was week 18. But then first playoff game on the road in Tampa, he throws a couple. I really love that. And you know what that tells me? He is starting to figure it out. And momentum is everything in this league. And I really think he's going to put up a really good fight versus Detroit. I'm actually taking the Commanders plus 10. So I think it's going to be a 1 possession game here. So Jaden Daniels over 1.5 passing touchdowns. But he's going to have to throw it to somebody, right? So we're going to be looking for Scary Terry McLaurin. I almost wanted him to score. The receiving yards looks good, but I think the receptions looks even better. It's a big time spot for the guy. He's had a lot of bad quarterbacks in the past, but he continued to keep his head down and produce. And he finally has a quarterback who can sling it. And this is going to be a really big game. I don't think he's ever played in a bigger game than this. He's coming off a game last week for the Bucs where he caught 7 passes on 10 targets. And in week 18, he had, I think this was 8 catches for 12 targets. That was one of his big games. That was week 18. And they're underdogs, like I said, between 9 and 10 points, depending on which sports book. So you figure there's going to be a good amount of passing here. And you already know Jaden Daniels is going to be looking his way, wide receiver 1, early and often. We have 2 plays down. I got 4 more to go. I want to say thanks everyone for watching. Really appreciate it here. Football's exciting, right? And I really love doing this for you. So let's get into the third pick, Dami Brown. And you're probably asking, who the heck is Dami Brown? Dami Brown has turned into their wide receiver 2. And Dami Brown has been really producing as of late. I like 2.5 over 3. It's just he's been flirting around 3 recently, but I'd rather win with a goblin. 2.5, it's a lot easier. I can see him getting 3. But something about Dami Brown. Did you know that he was drafted ahead of Amon-Ra St. Brown? Crazy, right? I'm not saying he's a better wide receiver, but as of late, he's been really producing as that solid wide receiver 2 for the Commanders offense. He passed Zacchaeus in production as of late, and that over/under 55.5. Jaden Daniels is going to have to include all of the receivers. So Scary Terry, Dami Brown, I think those 2 people are going to get a lot of love. Stay away from Zach Ertz. Whatever you do, do not put in Zach Ertz into anything. Detroit has the number 1 defense versus tight ends. They lock tight ends down, so stay away from Zach Ertz. 3 picks down, 3 more to go. So the next 3 players I have are going to be all from Detroit. And like I said before, with the return of Montgomery, this is going to get interesting. It's going to shake things up, especially in the passing game for Detroit. Washington is terrible. They're not really good at stopping their run. So keep that in mind with these next picks. So my next pick here is going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I like him to find the end zone at the Goblin play, but there's another Goblin I like a little bit better. I like the receptions. These are his last 5 here. Looks good. He's averaging 7.8. I went to ESPN.com. I vetted all this because sometimes Prizepicks is inaccurate with this stuff. 7 catches is just too high for me. That's kind of where you would need to be at in order to win, because the baseline is 6.5. 7 catches is minus 121 and 8 catches in order to win that bet. Like if you go back, if you take this off and you go back to here, 7 catches would be minus 121, 8 catches is plus 131 because I expect this mover to move this number closer to 7. I'd stay away from it. I really like the 5.5 better. I know it's Goff's favorite target, but with so many options on that offense, who's to say how much love Amon-Ra is going to get? And I like 6 instead of 7. So Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's going to produce, he's going to get his looks, but I don't know how much love he's going to get, so I'm a little hesitant. So we're going to go with 5.5. 2 more plays for you. We are going to go with, speaking of tight ends, I said don't go with Zach Ertz, but you should go with Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta's been on a heater lately. In his last week of the regular season, he went a whopping 7 for 7 in terms of targets and receptions. But I like 3. Once again, I like 3.5 more than I like 4.5. It's gonna jump to 4. I feel like if it was at 4, I would take 4, but 3.5. I'd rather win at 4 than tie at 4, if you know what I mean. The Washington Commanders rank number 10 in overall defense against tight ends. Like I said, Detroit's actually the first one. So I expect Laporta's production to slow down just a little bit. He's an important offensive cog in that wheel of Detroit, who's putting up points like nobody else. So being a little cautious there. So 3.5 on the receptions. I got one more play here. We're gonna go Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams, a lot of fun to watch. He's a speedster. We have 2 goblins, so I was thinking, hey, why not make it 3 with the receptions? 2.5. He's a speedy deep threat, and I feel like he just comes out of nowhere sometimes. And if we look at his last 5, he's more than doubling this. But let me give you a statistic here why you're really gonna like this play. He's had at least 3 catches in a whopping 9 games in a row. He's had at least 3 catches in 9 games in a row. That's a stat for you. So if you don't want to do the 2.5 and instead you're like, hey Matt, thanks for that information, I really appreciate it. I'll do 4. If we look at 4, you'd be okay. But I am gonna go with the 2.5. Not scared, but hey, winning is winning, big or small. And I always go power plays. 8x, it's not bad. So we'll go Jaden Daniels on the passing touchdowns, Scary Terry over on the receptions, Brown receptions, Laporta receptions, and William receptions. I hope you guys are going to be following these plays. I really like them a lot. I want to say thanks for watching, everybody, and go check out my other videos. I have some more for the divisional football games. Thanks for watching.